Hey everyone, hope we're doing well. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be discussing one of the most important things that sort of changed my sales game forever and allowed me to actually progress and break through sort of a barrier I was facing for multiple months on end. So if this is your first time watching me, my name's Sebastiano Sola. I help people get into appointment setting. I help them get into the online sales world and scale their incomes and sort of build a remote income in appointment setting. If you are interested in getting into appointment setting and not learning about this just yet, make sure to click the video in my bio or my website down below. Learn a bit more about appointment setting and see exactly if it would be a good fit for you. With that said, just a bit of a background on me. I've been doing sales for the past pretty much 4 years in the industry, done multiple $1 million in sales and revenue. And I really want to share one tip, which is the detachment from the outcome in today's video, which honestly, if you're doing sales right now, will change your life. So when it comes to the two most important mindset things I teach within my community and within Setter Syndicate is number one, detachment from the outcome, and number two, frequency. So a lot of you would have seen that frequency chart that goes like this with all the different stages. One of that, well, that can be a separate video, but sort of that's super important because when you are doing sales, you want to make sure you're at least in a neutral state or even better going into the day. Anyways, the purpose of this video is not that. The purpose of this video is talking about the detachment from the outcome. So detaching yourself from the outcome. What do I mean by this? All of us in our lives, we have certain expectations for ourselves or certain outcomes we expect. And a lot of the time we fall short, or a lot of the time we don't sort of achieve what we wanted to achieve. And this leaves us very upset or leaves us in a bad state, which also ties into the frequency chart. It makes us lower frequency. This is not what we want. You kind of need to be almost emotional. So before I dive deeper into this, deep into that specifically, let me talk about my journey for a little bit. So when I got into my main setting role, which I did for nearly 2 years at a company called Club Closer, during my time there, the main thing I really struggled with when I was really starting out as a sales rep is always focusing on the results, the outcome. I need to book this many calls. Why didn't this person close? This was such a good lead. I thought he was going to show up to the call. Why are my calls not showing up? Why are they not closing? What am I doing wrong? And honestly, there's only so much you can do right before you need to make certain changes which will actually move the needle. So many times I would get disappointed when calls wouldn't close. I'd blame myself. I'd be like, why am I not achieving the results I really want to achieve? Why is this not working? And then you start procrastinating. You start getting into a bad state. You start not focusing on the inputs. You start really not performing. So for example, when I was working at Club Closer, the first couple months I made always under $2,500 for the first 4 months. Then, even without applying this principle, I started to go to $3,000 a month, more or less, a bit more consistently, but I just couldn't break through this barrier. I had in my 5th month, a really good month. I went to $3,800 in total take home. And then the month after I did $2,000, the month after $1,800, the month after 2,000 something. I can't remember the exact number. And I was like, what's going on? Why can I not go up? Why can I never break through this sort of barrier that I'm feeling, this imaginary barrier? And until I figured out this, I never did. So detachment. What is detaching yourself from the outcome, specifically when it comes to appointment setting and sales? It's purely focusing on the inputs and everything you can control. The day I started focusing on just doing all the inputs and really reverse engineering everything I needed to do A to Z during my workday to get to Y result was when I really made the shift. When I kind of reverse engineered the results I wanted, okay, I want to do this much cash collected. Okay, what is my average cash collected per call that closes? Okay, how many calls do I need to book in order to get X amount of closes, to get X amount of average collected, to get X amount of cash, to then get on that 5% commission basis to hit my income target? Then you take it even further. Okay, how many conversations or how many links sent, booking links sent do I need to do to get X amount of call books? How many conversations do I need to do to send this many links to book this many calls? You get where I'm going with this. And until I boiled it down to, I need to do this many conversations and this many follow-ups in a day, I wasn't seeing results. But the day I figured out that baseline and I was like, wow, I've just been overcomplicating things. I've been thinking about things too much, I've been overthinking. Let me just focus on doing this many conversations per day, Sure, some days I won't hit the target, some days I won't, some days I may exceed it, but over time, this will be consistent. You know, if I do this many, based on my last 6 months of data, I should achieve this, right? So from that day onward, I stopped caring about the results. I was completely detached from every single result possible on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. I knew if I put X amount of input every single day, the result would be inevitable. And at the same time, I was like, if I up this, I'll get a better result. So let me just focus on the fundamental thing, my conversations. Not necessarily the quality, not necessarily doing this, doing that, doing these nitty-gritty. Let's just focus on the stats. I know my quality is there. I've been working on that 6 months straight. I know I can perform well. I know I work hard. Why am I not getting these closes? It's because I wasn't focused on the inputs. So let me just focus on these inputs. So from that day onwards, I just said to myself, all right, so I need to do this many conversations and this many follow-ups to get to my target. Let me up that by 20%. And every single day I did X amount of conversations, X amount of follow-ups, and it started to compound. I started to see results. I didn't care if someone would no-show. I didn't care if someone would just start ghosting me when I pitched a call. I didn't care if someone didn't close. I didn't care about anything. All I cared about was that I showed up every single day. I did the conversations required, and that was it. So you can use this in any sort of other sales position or anything in life, really. If you're a car sales rep, don't focus on how many cars you need to sell in the month. Focus on how many conversations you need to do with people per day, which is sort of out of your control probably. More so focus on how many calls you need to do a day. If I do this many calls, I'm going to get this many pickups, I'm going to book this many appointments, I'm going to sell this many cars. Reverse engineer it after you have enough data to do that. Then you can sit and say, okay, well look, people showing up to the lot is out of my control, but calling people is. How many calls do I need to do every single day so that over a monthly period I can sell this many cars? Granted, obviously you have very good performance. Granted, you've dialed in everything and you're very high level and you continue to improve your sales skills. If I do these inputs, I will get this result. If it's a relationship, right? Say you are struggling to keep good terms with a friend. Why is that? How many times have you been seeing that friend? How much effort are you making to see that friend, right? 0? Okay, so it's the input. I need to see this friend more often to maintain this sort of relationship. Maybe not the best example, but it's the same principle. If you detach yourself from the outcome and why something is happening, and you look at the root cause, you can reverse engineer how to get to the place you want to be. So, effectively, just to wrap this video up, it won't be a long one. What you want to take away from this is stop looking at the outcome. Stop thinking of where you want to be. I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to make $20,000 a month. Don't think of that because you're never going to get there. Think about what you need to do to get there, reverse engineer the steps, and completely emotionally detach yourself from that target. Don't get emotionally attached to certain things. Do what is necessary to get there, and inevitably, it will come. Whether it's a little bit longer, a little bit shorter than you expected, if you focus on the inputs and are consistent with the inputs, it's bound to happen. If you're always thinking of the outcome, you will never get the result. So just to wrap up my story with Club Closer, when I started doing this and I completely stopped caring about my job, essentially, obviously I did care about my job, I wanted to perform, but I really completely detached. I didn't care about anything. All I cared is that I'd done X and Y every single day, fundamentally. My whole game shifted. All the results came in abundance. Whether I had a bad week or a good week, I knew it would come. It's like clockwork, I can't explain it. It was like, how if I've been focusing on all these tactical things, tactical things, sales-related things, and trying to improve these, trying to improve that I never got these results. But then I did the same things which never got me results, but I stopped caring about the result, and now magically I've got the result. It didn't make sense to me, but I was like, it works. Detaching yourself from the outcome absolutely works. It does. From that point onwards, I just hit record month after record month. And then eventually it was so hard, I kind of hit more or less a bit of a ceiling. I just consistently was around that mark for the rest of the time I was there. Pretty much every single month, month over month, I hit the record months consistently every time. And it was amazing. I didn't care to the point that it would come to the end of the month and I wasn't going to hit the bonus target. I would always hit KPI, but we had a certain target for bonuses. I would get like 3 closes in the last day of the month to hit the target. And I was like, this is unbelievable. I'm so detached that when it came to the month, even if I didn't hit it, I knew consistency would compound. The next month I'd have a huge month, which would make up for this month of lack of performance. But then boom, on the last day, everything falls into place like clockwork. It was unreal. So if you're watching this, you're in a sales job, you have some sort of goal you want to hit, you want to do this in this business, you want to do this in your job, you want to do this in a relationship, take a step back. See what you need to do in order to get there. Don't think about getting there. Detach yourself emotionally from where you want to be. Focus on the fundamental thing you need to do and do that over a long period of time, and the result is inevitable. You will get there. I hope this one was valuable. I hope you have a blessed day if you're watching this. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel. Drop me a like and a comment if you have any more questions or video recommendations. I really appreciate it so much. If you are looking at getting into appointment setting or building a remote income, getting into online business models, building cash flow, joining a community of like-minded people, whatever you're looking for, I would love to see how I can help out. We have a link below to check out my website. Check the video out on my website, see if it's something you could see yourself doing, and then you can take further steps from there. Book in a call with us. You don't have to, and I look forward to serving you and speaking to you if you do. Have a blessed day.